Muted.
Cover the model dashboard, setting up models in the model dashboard area, as well as using the optimizer in the model dashboard. So you guys should all be looking at my screen, and you should all be familiar with this, kind of the home page for SCANalytics. To get to the model dashboard, the first thing you would do is click on the model dashboard link on the top right. If you have access to our model dashboard, that'll be available to you right here. Simply click on model dashboard. That'll take you over to the model dashboard interface. Now again, I'm assuming that everyone here has built some reports in SCANalytics. So one of the key things or key differences between building an illustration and creating a model is as you build an illustration, everything is laid out for you in a horizontal format. You enter your tickers, you go to the next tab, and so forth. You allocate on the next tab, and then you enter your fees on the third tab, and everything's kind of laid out, like I said, for you in a horizontal fashion. So model dashboard, very similar functionality, except here things are kind of laid out for you vertically. So there's not tabs to navigate, everything's kind of right here for you. Now the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and create a model here. So I'm just going to create a sample model. The way to start that is I'm going to click on these search binoculars. I'm going to simply enter the tickers I want to include in my model. For today's sample, I'm going to keep it simple. I'm just going to use 4 mutual funds. I'm going to go ahead and add these positions to my model. And again, for the sake of simplicity, I'm just going to go ahead and allocate 25% to each one of these positions in the model. Now, once I've allocated to 100%, I can go ahead and save this model by scrolling to the bottom, clicking on Save, and then titling my model. Today I'm going to go ahead and simply title that Sample Model and save that. Now, anytime I wanted to access this sample model, it would be as simple as logging into my model dashboard area, selecting sample model, and then restoring this model. Now you'll notice on this model dashboard here, I have the ability to select my time frame in section 3. As you know, our reports are always going to default to the longest common time horizon amongst the assets in the portfolio. If I needed to make any adjustments, I would make those in section 3. I have the ability to add any fees here in section 4 by clicking on the drop-down to expand the fees area. So simply clicking here to expand that fees area gives me the ability to show any fees I'd want to on this model. And then lastly, just like with the illustrations, section 5 is going to give me the ability to create any reports on this model that I just put together here. So again, the goal of today's call wasn't really to get into the reports, but simply show you how easy it is to create a model and then to run any one of our reports on this model. Be as simple as checking the box and then creating the report you'd like. Now, the unique functionality that we have in model dashboard area is the use of our optimizer. So I have the ability to use our system to optimize this model. I've went ahead and put this together. To optimize, it's as simple as clicking on the Optimize button here in section 2. Once I click that, I see the optimization interface come up, and our system starts working. So here, what we're doing is we're basically taking the positions that are in this model, we're comparing their return, standard deviation, and correlation, and coming up with the optimal model over this time horizon. Again, time horizon displayed here on the top right. So currently, my sample model is sitting where this red dot is, and the greatest Sharpe ratio, or the optimal model, is where this yellow dot is. My current allocation is shown in this column under current, and the new optimal allocation is shown here under the optimal column. I do have the ability to click anywhere here on this graph to see the model composition at that point. So again, here's my current optimal model. Maybe I want to see this point here. I simply click there, and you'll see the optimal column will recalculate to where I've clicked. Now I'm going to go ahead and leave this on the optimal point. I also have the ability here within my optimization interface to build reports on the optimized model simply by scrolling down to the bottom. I'm also given an analysis, a quick analysis of my sample model, how I had it set up, pretty much evenly split there, versus the optimized model here. I'll also get pie charts showing me the allocation of my sample versus the optimal model. And again, so another neat option I have in here is I can actually create my own portfolios. Say, for example, I wanted to create an 80-20 using these positions. I can actually put category constraints at the category level, meaning I can constrain the percentage, maximum percentage or minimum percentage going into alternative investments, into the subset of hedge funds, or into the individual position. I can also do that at the equity level. In equities, I could also constrain the general equity versus international equity. And I can do that at the fixed income level, as well as the general fixed income level. So here, for example, maybe I want to say that I want a minimum of 5% in alternative investments and no more than 35. Matter of fact, maybe I want to use those constraints for all of my categories here. For equities, I'll say 5, no more than 50. And for fixed income, same thing, 5, no more than 50. I have the ability to easily place those constraints in and then recalculate the model using those constraints by clicking Recalculate here on the top. Now this portfolio is being re-optimized given my constraints with the min and max in each of these categories. So just to give you an idea of how you can use this to really constrain either the categories or the individual position to optimize your model and what might work for you. Now, as I'm going through this, any questions you have, please feel free to chat them in or type them into the question chat box there. I'll do my best to get to all of your questions. I also have the ability here to save my optimal model by simply coming down and clicking Save to override my model, or Save As to save this as maybe the sample model optimal. I'll now have access to both the sample model as well as the sample model optimal simply by coming into Model Dashboard, using this drop-down and loading in that optimized model. Again, I have the ability to run my full gamut of reports by checking any of the report boxes down here. And I have full functionality in terms of fees, time horizon, and all of that stuff right here in Model Dashboard. So lastly, what I wanted to show you is, again, coming back into Model Dashboard here. Have the ability also to import using an Excel spreadsheet. We can download the template here. Simply populate that template and upload to create the model rather than typing in the tickers. And again, if you have any questions that are maybe specific to how your firm might be using the Model Dashboard or any one-off questions, please feel free to reach out to me individually, shoot me an email or give me a call. My number here is 800-480-3888. I'm at extension 105. Should all have my email address. That's the email you received to register for this webinar. And that's kind of what I wanted to show you today in terms of Model Dashboard and optimizer use. And with that, I'll get to some of the questions. So I see the first question, can we bring allocations from our list area to save as models? We can actually take care of that for you. Please just email me your illustration titles, and I can ask our tech team to move those illustrations over to the Model Dashboard for you. Again, you also have the ability to import that model with an Excel spreadsheet or simply enter those tickers in, as you saw me do earlier. Next question is there a way to compare portfolios? Yeah, there absolutely is. That would be done using our Compare Scan report. Again, I'd be happy to discuss that with you on a one-on-one basis. I've actually done a training call on the comparative reports, and I'd be happy to share that video with you as well, or set up a call and go through the Compare Scan. Next question I see is there a way to delete models? Any models you need deleted out of your model dashboard, please feel free to send me an email, myself or the support team here. You can send emails to support, S-U-P-P-O-R-T, @advisoryworld.com, and someone from our support team will go ahead and have tech delete any models you need deleted out of your model dashboard. Next question I see is the model dashboard geared more for existing clients or as a prospecting tool? Really, I would say that people are using this as a little bit of both. A lot of folks are using the model dashboard for their firm-approved models, setting those up here, and kind of using that just to set up firm-approved models. A lot of folks are also using this as a prospecting tool in the sense that they're taking clients, perhaps their current 401k allocations, and using the optimizer to kind of optimize the 401k allocation. A lot of times just as a basic value add or as a free service. You're not getting paid on the 401k, but you can use the optimizer to quickly kind of put together a model for those assets there. So it's being used in both fashions. Now again, I know I moved pretty fast today on the training call. My goal was just to highlight all of the functionality. If there's anything I can shed more light on for you, for your specific case use, or if there's anything I might have glossed over, please feel free to reach out to me. Be happy to set up a one-on-one call and really take our time setting up the model dashboard and using this as you might be using it for your firm. With that, I've covered most of what I wanted to go over on the call today. I'm going to hang out on the phone and just take any questions that come up. So I do want to be respectful of your time. This is basically what I wanted to cover. Any questions that come up, like I said, I'll be happy to take those. Otherwise, reach out to me on a one-on-one basis. Happy New Year from the team here at AdvisoryWorld, and thank you for taking the time to attend our webinar.